Welcome to Great Loop Lifestyle. This is the Campbellford, Ontario edition, and this is a quaint small town along the Trent Severn in Canada. And this town really knows how to do it right in terms of welcoming boaters. There are walls on both sides of the river here, and that is a group of looper boats primarily on the park side. And the perch was tied up on the other side of the river with a couple of other looper boats who left before we did. So we're looking a little bit lonely there. But you can see the City Hall and the LCBO, which is important to a lot of loopers. That is the Canadian liquor store. So there's two sides, as I said, and this town just welcomes boaters with open arms. We were not tied up for more than a few minutes when a representative of the Chamber of Commerce came to the boat to welcome us, to give us a welcome package that talked all about the town and what there was to do and see, to take our payment, which saved us from having to walk across the bridge to the other side of the river. So the side we were on is the starboard side as you're coming into town. There's lots of shops and restaurants on that side. There's also tons of shops on the port side. So those tied up on the port side were a little bit closer to the washrooms because that's the side that they're on. We were a little closer to some of the great shops that I'll get into in a moment, but I do want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for welcoming us with such hospitality into Campbellford. This is just a little grassy area between the wall where the perch was tied up and part of town, so you can see Town Hall. That clock tower is actually lit up at night, and the gray building that you could see kind of to the left of the Canadian flag is the LCBO. There is also a farmer's market here on Saturdays, and we were lucky enough to be here on Saturday. So just kind of right behind City Hall, there is a little farmer's market with some fruits and vegetables and some flowers and things. Also kind of adjacent to that are lots of things of interest. This house had a plaque on the back side of it that said it was one of the older homes. I think they said it dated back to the 1860s, but it was the first home in Campbellford to have electricity. Also kind of down in that direction is this old fire station and this antique store, which kind of shares the parking lot of where the farmer's market is on Saturday mornings. Bridge Street literally runs over the bridge. That's the view from one side, that's towards the park side, and this is the view towards a little bit more of the downtown side where most of the shopping is. So we really enjoyed walking around that particular area. I think Campbellford actually wins for the worst for your waistline town, and here is why. Number one is Doer's Bakery. This is apparently the most famous bakery in Canada. They are best known for their cream-filled donuts, and you can see one of them at the top of that picture there. It's basically a donut sliced in half like a sandwich and filled with whipped cream. As you can see, I also tried a couple others as well. The cream-filled was good, but not my favorite. The cream was really light and fluffy. For me, I just kind of preferred the donut by itself. It was a really, really delicious donut, but the line at Doers is around the block. They open at 9. I got there a little bit after 9 thinking that the crowd would already have dwindled. Was not the case. I went to a couple other stops and came back, and there was still a really long line. So I waited. It did move very quickly. People were coming out with shopping bags full of bread and cookies and, of course, the donuts and all different kinds of cakes. I also got a bag of cookies at the recommendation of one of the lockmasters. Ian is a lockmaster usually at locks 15 and 16, but I had seen him a few days earlier at one of the previous locks, and he recommended the oatmeal jams, and he was not wrong. They are delicious, so definitely stop at Doer's. The next place in Campbellford where it is definitely worth overindulging is the Ice Cream Cafe. They serve Kawartha Dairy's ice cream, which I've talked about before, and it is, I believe I am narrowing it down to be the best ice cream on the loop, although I'm not finished with the loop yet. But they had 26 flavors of Kawartha Dairy ice cream. Most places I've been to have 6 to 10, so I got to try some new flavors, which were equally as amazing as what I have had in the past. The Ice Cream Cafe is on Bridge Street, just down the street from this little movie theater, which was playing Elvis. And I know several loopers who went to a movie there. I also know some who went bowling because there's a bowling alley in town. Just in case Canada's best bakery and 26 flavors of Kawartha ice cream is not enough for your sweet tooth, there is a world's finest chocolate factory outlet store in walking distance here in Campbellford. And that is the chocolate I bought. Those 2 bags, totaling I think 11 chocolate bars, was like $5 Canadian. Many of you, at least in the US, I'm not sure about Canada, but recognize these world's finest chocolate bars as school fundraisers. And here they're sold in bulk. So you get a baggie of one of the flavors. That was caramel and the Rice Krispie one. You get the bag, and it was buy one, get one free. So those were mostly for Michael. And I've been doing a pretty good job of staying away from eating those because I had so much ice cream and so much from the bakery. If you're looking to reprovision the boat with some food while in Campbellford, there is a grocery store. Sharp's Food Market is a short walk away, and that is actually owned by a looper. So definitely give them your patronage. For a town the size of Campbellford, there are a huge number of restaurants. Definitely no shortage of good places to eat. By a strange turn of events, I did wind up eating at the same place twice. This is Dockside Bistro, which came highly recommended from some of the local lock operators. And as I said, just kind of by coincidence ended up there twice. The first time I had a grilled vegetable salad with chicken added. Absolutely fabulous, well seasoned and made for a great light meal. And the second time I had the butter chicken, and it was also wonderful. The chef came out, welcomed us. It takes a little bit of a long time to get the food, so you need to be a little bit patient. But so many places are short staffed right now, so packing your patience is always kind of needed as you're working your way around the loop. But the food was amazing. And the other place I really had wanted to try and did not have the opportunity to was Caper's Tap House. That one came extremely highly recommended, so much so that when we tried to go on Saturday evening, it was impossible to get in without a reservation. But for others who may be coming behind us, may be able to plan ahead and get a reservation, or maybe they're on a weeknight. There were lots of lovely houses in Campbellford, particularly in the area around Dockside Bistro. And this one was actually for sale, just under $1 million Canadian, I think 987,000, if that fits your budget. And it's right there, kind of across the street from the bistro along the river. And then there is one really lovely attraction in the town. It is the suspension bridge that goes over the Rainy Gorge Falls. That is what the pathway looks like to reach the bridge. There is a network of these trails in the area that lead to different parts of the river. Really well maintained, so therefore easy to walk on. And the suspension bridge just kind of takes you out over part of the river. The falls weren't moving very fast because of the current water level and the dams. So there wasn't a whole lot to see in terms of waterfalls, but it's a really neat spot to take some pictures. If the water is running faster, I can imagine it would be really spectacular. And it is a little bit scary. I have a healthy fear of heights, so as I walked out to the middle of the bridge, I was actually feeling pretty good about it. Until I looked down, straight down, towards my feet, and realized that the grate you're walking on is kind of like a grid that you can see through. So I was able to see straight down, and that was not a comfortable feeling for me. But it's about a mile walk, and I was really glad that I did make the effort to go check out the suspension bridge. It was just a nice thing to do in the town. So that was our visit to Campbellford. Really just a quaint stop. As I said, they really roll out the red carpet for boaters and are pleased to have you visit the town. So definitely make it a stop on your loop. We'll be back soon with our next Great Loop Lifestyle from Peterborough, Ontario. Thanks for watching.